PFL Week 3, we're going to tell you who's going to win in the main event. But we're going to start at the bottom. We're going to give out a bunch of winners, and there is no time to waste. So, Jim, Thad Gene, there's not lines out on all the books, so I don't want to spend too much time on this one. You got 6-0, Thad Gene. I do not know that much about Romain here. Do you have any thoughts on this fight? Thad Gene's the huge, huge favorite. Obviously, this is a theme that's been happening in the first couple weeks, and I think you and I are a believer that the Bellator guys are not doing great against the PFL guys. This is just not even an argument at this point. So do we just go right back to fading the Bellator guy coming over against Thad Gene? Do you have any takes on this one? I'm personally staying off this one.
Well, Bellator's got to prove it to me at this point now because it's getting to the point where it's a thing. And after these face-offs, I firmly believe it's going to be a thing again. Look, Thad Gene is PFL's hyped-up guy. He's a good fighter. Was fully expecting to have a bet on Thad Gene going into this fight, and then I saw face-offs, and I thought that he doesn't have as big of a size advantage as I expected. So kind of makes me a little bit weary, especially at that minus 300 number. I could look like a fool after this, after Thad Gene finishes him in 2 rounds, but, it technically is a step up on competition. A little too risky to start the card. I really don't see it. I'm not a big fan of French MMA, the prospects they're putting out. I think they're very top-heavy, so I would expect Romain to not be fantastic, and Thad Gene's the hype guy, so, I would lean Gene, but, yeah, no bet.
I would lean Gene, but the price has just gotten – you got to be – 100% confident to lay the price at this one. So I'm with you. Thad Gene is the pick, but I'm not putting it in parlays. I'm not betting on it money line. We just too much sketchiness with these undefeated younger guys. We've seen it. So we'll move on. Tyler Diamond, Otto Rodrigues. I love the clip of Tyler Diamond on the PFL vlog series was just fantastic. He was in the little portable sauna with his head coming up, talking about how much he sacrificed. You know what? Tyler Diamond's the underdog. I don't think it's a horrible bet. I don't think it's terrible to take Tyler Diamond. Otto Rodrigues, 14-1. I'm not impressed. I think Tyler Diamond actually... Listen, Tyler Diamond's not great, but neither is Otto Rodrigues. This 14-1 record is just a lot of okay, all right. But Brian Moore, congratulations on that. Didn't fight Aaron Pico. Didn't he not ducked, but they just didn't happen. And so
he's lucky that didn't happen.
That's what I'm saying. He's lucky. He's absolutely lucky. So. Like, coming from Jungle Fight and Serbian Battle and LFA and I'm not saying Tyler Diamond is great. I'm just saying at plus money, I think he's got a puncher's chance. There's no shot I'm laying money on the favorite here. I don't know if I can get to the window, but Tyler Diamond, Brandon Loughnane, he's been in there against Mavlid, and he did get the second round was not a good look for him, but the first round wasn't terrible. I think I like Tyler Diamond at the plus money. If you make me have to bet on this one, it's absolutely on Tyler Diamond. I won't bet it, but I would be very, very terrified about laying money on Rodrigues. What do you think?
I was ready to lay money on Rodrigues. I was all set. I watched weigh-ins. Rodrigues looks absolutely amazing. Amazing on the scale. No extra flab on this guy whatsoever. He looks fantastic. Then Diamond weighed in and they faced off, and he's massive compared to Otto. We knew Otto was going to be small, but look, ripped or not, there is a huge frame difference on these guys, not just muscle. You see a huge frame difference. Strength of competition is not even a question. Yeah. Is it even debatable?
No, it's not.
Tyler Diamond's got Bryce Mitchell on his record. Loss, win, doesn't matter. Fought way better competition, just way better. I believe, did he take some time off as well? 2023. So it's about a year since we've seen him, a little under a year. Yeah, underdog, take the dog. I think this fight ends, I will say. I definitely think this fight ends. I don't know if Otto, if he's not the nail, I don't know how he's going to look. Or the hammer, excuse me. I don't know if he's a good nail. That hasn't been proven yet at all. Because he hasn't fought anybody that's been able to really make him work and really put him through the ringer. And Diamond could do this. Great gas tank on Diamond. Really see him taking over late in the rounds. So, yeah, I would leave the plus money on Diamond. No bet for me yet, but we'll see where it goes.
We're going to move on to a few more fights. We got a couple things to get into here. Brennan Ward, your boy. And yes, I'm labeling Brennan Ward as your boy. Yeah, the floor is yours. The floor is yours on this fight. I know you've done a lot of research on it. What's your take on Ward and Don here?
I've watched Ward for a long time. I watched a lot of Bellator back in the day, and that was just the fact that I'm using the word back in the day when talking about Brennan Ward tells you where he's at. Look, everyone knows the backstory. Great story. Turned his life around. Unfortunately, the guy has never got paid enough to where he doesn't have to work, and he's been working construction jobs and was really waiting to find out if he was going to be signed to PFL or not. In the meantime, he was full open and honesty about it at his interview. He was like, I was about to switch jobs, take on a big construction job. The guy's out there, man. He's out there. He's been through hell and back, but he's still here. He's still fighting. He's a brawler. He's kill or be killed. Fully expected Brennan Ward to have a size advantage. And again, he weighed in first, and then Don Mage weighed in second, and he's massive compared to Ward. You can see the frame difference. Like it looks like two different weight classes. If you guys haven't watched face-offs, please go and do before you place your bets and just make an educated decision with that information. But Don Madge coming out late, he took some time off. We don't know what we're going to get. There's one thing I know we're going to get in here, Andy. Violence. This fight's going to be a car crash.
That's a finish, yeah.
Absolute car crash. This fight ends in 2 rounds. I don't think we see a third round in this fight. That's the way Brennan Ward's going to fight. And I know Don Mage is a bit of a point fighter, but he's not going to be allowed to. Ward is just a maniac. He's going to come forward. There will be blood, and there will be a knockout. That's what's probably going to happen in this fight. So I think the under's in play.
I'm gonna come back to you about your comment about the frame. Jim, we were gonna do a live show, and just let everyone know Jim is. Well, you tell her what you're doing tomorrow night.
We have some guys testing for black belt at our school, so we're gonna be training all night long. So we'll be starting Friday night and rolling all the way into Saturday night. So it's a 24-hour test. So it's a good time.
Yeah. So Jim runs big time school. So we had a comment last week about why are we allowed to talk about fights if we don't fight? Mm-hmm. That's why. So I also have one more thing that Jim, whenever I have an idea for these videos that I don't want to forget to tell Jim, I just send him a random text.
Oh, that's right.
With some keywords, and he's like, "What the F is this?" Okay, so here's something that I mess up all the time. The comments that we get on PFL and UFC videos are completely different from any other video that we do. And I don't know sometimes when the messages are meant to be in fun or if they are legit absolutely rip. Okay? So here's what I'm asking. Please post your comments. Tell us what you think of our opinions. Tell us what your best bet is. If you legit think that what I say is complete trash, post it. If you're trying to have fun, put a little note in parentheses that just says, like, sarcastic. That way I know how to respond. Yes. Because I think I've been responding to some of in the wrong tone. Like, if you think my comment is absolutely atrocious, rip me, don't say anything, then I know how to come back at you. If you're trying to have a fun little back and forth, just put like sarcastic at the end. That way the tone in which I respond is a little bit different so we don't get our signals crossed. So that was so Jim was probably you were probably very confused when I sent you that text.
I forgot about it till you just brought it up, but yeah, I knew what it was. As soon as it came, I go, oh, that's something we got to talk about. Okay.
Yeah. So please leave a comment, but make sure you make it very clear whether or not you think I'm ass or you're just trying to have a good laugh. That way I know whether to come at you in the proper respect. All right, moving on. By the way, before we get on to this one, are we just like fully accepting that all these guys are on the same roids,
doctor?
HGH? They all have the same body,
Same doctor. Yep. It's very evident at weigh-ins today that these guys either found a fourth or fifth gear in their career they didn't know they had, or they got a really good doctor, or the PFL just doesn't care.
They
just
all
flat
have
out
the
don't
same
care.
shoulders. All of
They're
them.
massive.
The same shoulders and back and the same cut. It was like, wait a minute. I thought we all had different bodies here. No,
There wasn't a flabby belly out there. I mean, they're just.
There was no
everybody's got a
Jamal
good
Hill.
back. None.
There was-
No.
So, all right, Starpoli and Ramazanov. I was surprised that Ramazanov, he was shorter. I don't know if he stockier, probably more power from the core. It's Starpoli. Your opinion is that they're just kind of feeding Ramazanov one here. I want to get your thoughts first because I'll have a probably devil's advocate in this one. What's your thought on Starpoli and Ramazanov?
I think Ramazanov is the real deal. Do I think he's championship, like going to win the title this year? No, not necessarily. But I think he's the real deal. I don't think he's a pretender with that record. You can go down the strength of competition and question who these guys are. But look, he's got a win over Nursultan Rodzhaboyev. He's a UFC fighter. Say what you want about him.
A good one.
It's a W. A W is a W, right?
Yeah.
Starpoli kind of had his chance. Look, he also missed weight. That's the thing. I think help me out here.
Ramazanov
is just going. He's one-way traffic on the ground. If this fight hits the ground, it's over for Starpoli. He can have it whichever way he wants, and he's going to have to hunt for the sub. This is a tournament fight. It's not a qualifier. Got to go for the finish. He's probably going to go for it early, push the wrestling. Starpoli missed weight. He is training with Glover. I like that, but I don't know, man. I've never been impressed with the guy. I don't think at this point in his career he's going to make some kind of career resurgence. So it's also gone from minus 500 to minus 900 in the past 3 hours. So
you noticed
big line
too?
move. Big line move.
You noticed that one? Yeah, I my worry, not worry, but I think Ramazanov by decision might be an interesting one because I'm not sure he finishes. When he just looking at the film, and he has not fought a lot recently. I mean, his last win was 2001. This groin strike was in round 1, so we haven't seen more than a few minutes of him. I wonder if he just kind of gets Starpoli down, controls, doesn't maybe quite understand the PFL format, how important it is to get the points. So, one of those, he's like, I won. I was like, you only got a couple points there, bro.
You're last.
Yeah, congratulations, you're out of the playoffs at this point. So, I agree. He's the rightful favorite. He's the money line is a parlay piece at best. I would be cautious about taking him by finish. I think that's what a lot of people may do, but I would be a little bit worried about that one.
He's unplayable at minus 900. Like I'm
Of
talking
course.
right now. No parlays, okay? No, there's no point in putting him in. Stop.
Yeah.
Walk away.
Brett Johns, who I kind of like. He's not great. Am I going to bet him over Khizriev? No. So I think it's one of those where it could be closer than people think. Khizriev is the play. I think he's got him covered most places. Can you make a case for Brett Johns in this one?
I think you can always make a case for Brett Johns. He could be in any fight. Is it enough for me to put my money on him? No way.
That's
not even close.
That's a classic Brett Johns argument. Like he's going to be in all of them.
But is he going to get there or not? Look, I don't think his wrestling can hold up. He's a great grappler, but I question his actual wrestling. He should have the crisper hands on the feet. I just don't think it's going to be there. I think it's going to be on the ground, unfortunately for him. So, and you know what the riot is everybody saying this is a close fight, but the money keeps coming in on Khizriev.
Yeah.
Not a lot of Brett Johns bettors out there that, it's all being picked and it could be a tough fight and this and that, but you got to follow the money. You got to follow the money in this game, man.
Yeah, for sure. Borics and Enreique Barzola. I kind of had trouble finding a lot of. I couldn't find the Pitbull fight. He does beat Madge Bernal, Jeremy Kennedy. I don't know. It's weird looking at some of his wins. Like Are they great? Are they aging well? Not really.
Recently, yes. Like very, very recently, yes. At the time, they were very good wins.
That's what I mean. Like
Yeah.
at the time, it was great, and you go back and look, and you're like, I don't know, Bellator versus Bellator here. I went and looked at the film. I couldn't get to the window on any of them. I think Borics is going to be the popular pick on this one, but in my opinion, there's just better bets on the card. I have nothing on this one, on this fight. What do you think?
I was fully intending to have a bet on Enrique Barzola this entire week, and I wanted to wait till face-offs, and I'm very glad I did because he's dwarfed by Adam. Adam is huge.
I thought this was the biggest surprise to me,
I was
size-wise.
shocked. 2 different weight classes. Not even close. Like, it's just obnoxiously different. I wanted the over in this. I wanted this fight to go to decision. I still like it because I believe Barzola is tough. I just have a feeling Adam's going to have him covered everywhere. The only way I think Barzola can win this fight is if Adam tires and he's rusty, or come the third, he's not as sharp. It's a 1-1 going into the third, and he makes one mistake. But if his cardio is there, he should work Barzola for 3 rounds. And is he going to push for the finish? That's the real big question. So, yeah, I like Adam. I like Adam in this. I kind of flip-flop and went the other way. I like it by decision. I still like it to go the distance. Haven't got there yet with anything. So we'll wait and see what happens with this line. If it gets a little tastier, maybe I'll jump in on it. But that's all I have.
Like it. Running a special here on wagertalk.com. Buy 7 days for $99. Get 3 days free. We just crossed the 70-unit mark for all sports in 2024. We had a great year in 2023. We made 91 units, and we are creeping up on that one. We're on a 7-2 MMA run, and we got PFL plays locked and loaded. So if you want to get all sports, including MLB, NBA, NHL, we've got lacrosse for this weekend, and there is no UFC, but it doesn't matter. We've been cashing on PFL. Jim has been a big, big part of that. He has won me over on the volume. I am a low volume batter, but PFL, it is a high volume sport, especially this early in the season. Actually, can you touch on that, Jim, real quick? Because you and I go back and forth on this all the time, and you are right. PFL is a high volume. It's different from It's different from UFC. Why is that?
I just believe it has to be. There's so much variance in UFC. You're talking about the promotion that's undoubtedly the best in the world. The quality of opponent, everything just changes the way you have to bet it. You get these spots in PFL where you have to go after it. Because at the end of the season, you'll be sitting here going, man, I should have made more. Man, I should have made more. Now, you don't want to overextend yourself. That being said, don't tie one fighter into 6 parlays, because you have situations like Brennan Loughnane last year where he gets knocked out. It happens. Right?
Sadabusi, burned us.
Sadabusi, broken thumb. Other than that, great night. Would have been amazing. I think with PFL in the early weeks of the season, you got to strike when you can. And then from there, you're very selective, and you learn more about these fighters as you go through the tournament system. In the UFC, we won't see a fighter for 6 months. Some of them.
Yeah.
These guys, when they're done, they heal up for a couple days. They go right back to training. They got a date booked. It's coming. So we know these guys. Come the third round, come the actual playoffs, you know who you got. You know who you got. And at the end of the season who you need. It's all based off the points and the time of year in the tournament. It's just the way it works. So you have to bet it extremely differently, and I think a lot of people get caught with PFL trying to bet it the same way of UFC, and they think that there's no money there. Guys, there's sometimes, I personally believe there's more value in PFL than there is UFC.
Yeah.
And there's so much less content.
There is. We only had 2 plays in the UFC at UFC 300. They won easily. But I feel like me personally, if I put out 9 plays in UFC, I might have 5 great weeks in a row, and then I'm going to hit up like a 2-7 night or whatever. With PFL, it's kind of the opposite. If you do your research and you figure it out and you put out like 6 or 7 plays and you have the random Sadabusi thing, but then you have Impa by finish. Then you go down the list. Volume is the way to go in PFL. I'm a believer. I'm sold. So we'll move on.
And the totals. And
that's the other thing. The totals with this tournament style, like in UFC, you have someone like Aljamain Sterling who's like, oh, just give me a win against Cater. You can't do that in the PFL tournament. You can't. All right, Bubba Jenkins, Kai Kamaka. I wanted to bet against Kai Kamaka. I wanted to bet on Bubba Jenkins. And then I watched the vlog videos, and I wanted to bet on Bubba Jenkins even more. And then we have a classic baby theory. Oh, my gosh, is this a fade the baby theory if I've ever seen it? So walk us through Kai Kamaka, Bubba Jenkins, and why this is a fade the baby theory. It's a great one.
What I love about PFL is they try to keep their audience in. They give us information as much as they can. And they do this vlog series every week. It's, probably an episode a day from Monday to Thursday.
It's 10 to 12 minutes, and it's pretty good.
Quick. You get a lot of information. You see you get a lot of tells. Kai Kamaka is pushing his baby around Chicago, and just going to Soldier Field and buying Bears memorabilia. And then, the other fighters are holding his kid. He's passing him
Jeremy
around.
Kennedy was with
Jeremy Kennedy, who just got baby theoried, who we missed. That was the baby theory we missed.
Pitbull
got
baby
theoried.
theoried him. Yep.
Yep, he got baby theoried. I just don't see it. I don't get it, man. Never been impressed with Kai Kamaka. I know he went on a run in Bellator. Just haven't been impressed with him. He's billed as this big striker. He's got no knockout power. Bad takedown defense. Not the best gas tank. And, not a big fan of Kai Kamaka. Would you like to touch on the shape that Bubba Jenkins is in as well?
Oh, man. So I would just point out I put out Bubba Jenkins as a free play on social media, and somebody responded. They were like, I thought Henry Corrales won, like the last one. It was like, it doesn't really matter who won. It was a split decision against Henry Corrales in a terrible fight. It was a terrible fight. They were tired in the second round, low volume, and this is a completely different animal. So Bubba Jenkins was very open, and good for him, saying he was just out of shape against Pinedo. And it was obvious. He didn't get the finish in the first round. He was done. And he got knocked out, and he was like, that was 100% my mistake. I take full responsibility, and that is never going to happen. And he is obviously in the best shape of his career. He showed up at the last PL vet with, in his words, both my girls on my arm. And Bubba Jenkins' definition of both my girls on my arm is different from Kai Kamaka's. I have my baby on my arm. It just, Bubba Jenkins wrestling is just going to be too much. And like we said, Kai Kamaka is supposed to have the striking advantage. Well, does he?
I don't know.
I see.
I don't want Bubba to find out though.
No,
he's gonna blast across this cage and get this to be a wrestling match.
And it's going to be a wrestling match. And against Corrales, I watched Kai Kamaka have no knockout power after the first few minutes, and decision punches from back control. That's not on the feet. I'm with you, Kai Kamaka.
And that's against what, a 9-5 fighter in his debut in the promotion, an ex-UFC fighter with his debut in the promotion, handed a win. Let's build him up. And then he follows it up by 2 boring decisions.
Yeah, I'm with you, Bubba. And this is still less than minus 175, minus 180. So you're still getting a great fight. Great odds. Yeah. So it's Bubba all day on this one. Yamauchi and Neiman Gracie, you love that we get to fade a Gracie again. Gracie looked good on the scales, looked pretty thick. And then Yamauchi came out, and I was like, oh. Yamauchi was like, hold my beer. This is a rematch. I know that there were some worries about Yamauchi's health from the last one, but listen, this is just a fade of Gracie. Gracies are legends, whatever. They haven't evolved. I'm sorry. They just haven't evolved in the last few years. So it's a pretty quick one. It's Yamauchi or nothing on this one. Do you agree?
Agreed. This was the first fight that I looked at and put my money on for this week, and I'm sticking to it. I know he's coming off that injury to MVP. The man looks fantastic. Not wearing a knee sleeve, not wearing anything in any of the videos, full on training, wrestling, grappling. It's been a while, right? We've been a year removed from the patella tear. With a patella tear, not that it's not a bad injury, but it's not an ACL. It's not an Achilles. It's not fantastic, but I think
It's not
I
an
trust him
Achilles.
to.
It's
Different
not.
animal there. I trust him to come back healthy from this. And look, again, Gracie's are Gracie's. Sorry. Until they come up with another one, the next
They can't help
generation
themselves.
that
They
knows
just
how to
can't
strike.
help themselves. Yeah.
They don't know how to strike. I can't. I just can't. I can't. MMA's evolved and they haven't. That's what it comes down to.
Braga and Gonzales, I really wanted to go in on Braga, and then I started looking at some of the film, and listen, Justin Gonzales, his weakness is just takedown defense, and when he gets on the ground, he's a turtle. I mean, like he might as well just tap. If somebody gets him on the ground, even though he's not hurt, just kind of tap and get out of there. When he's on the feet, not bad. But is Braga the guy to take him down? No, I actually think this is a decent enough matchup for Gonzales. I don't think he's going to win, but there's much, much worse matchups because I just don't think Braga is going to be able to isolate the big weakness of Gonzales. I think the thing is, does it go under? I do, because I think these guys are going to swing pretty hard in this format. I think Gonzales. I was gonna go Braga, and I've changed it. I'm just gonna focus on unders because Gonzales, he's not great on the feet, but he's a lot better on the feet than he is on the ground. What was your take?
I wanted to bet against Braga severely.
Okay.
When he was booked in Abu Dhabi.
Oh, okay.
And we lost that fight.
Truth.
I think that's given him enough time. There was reports this week that when he was in Abu Dhabi, he was an absolute head case. Like like literally other fighters were like, "This isn't right. This fight shouldn't happen." Pitbull actually said, "I don't want to fight him," while they were in Abu Dhabi. I think there's a reason that fight got canceled. I think they looked at that and said, "This is a problem." I think this has given him enough time. I think he's reset. He's kind of refocused. He's not fighting mourning the death of his father now. Now I kind of feel like he's almost fighting with inspiration about his father. It's been a little bit of time. Oh my God, does Braga look absolutely huge at face-offs. I mean, frame-wise, totally different. There's just an air about him that he's kind of been there, done that. It's just, there's a different vibe I have coming from Braga. Gonzales is not nearly as big. I agree with you that his weak spot is the wrestling. Might not have to come based off a takedown, though. What we see a lot in PFL, these guys get hurt on the feet. They get swarmed because they're looking for a finish. So if Braga could end up on top that way, and at that point, Gonzales is going to have no way of getting up.
He's done. Yeah,
he's done. He's done. I'm on Braga. I don't hate the number. I put a small bet on Braga. I don't want to go too overextended because I believe it's creeping over the 200 mark right about now. But I think it's Braga. I think it's been there, done that. It's PFL versus Bellator. Yeah, I'm going with Braga.
All right. Do you agree the under? I don't see.
I think the finishing comes from Gonzales losing. I don't believe Gonzales will finish Braga. Let's put it that way. But I do believe that Braga, if Gonzales tires or can't take the punishment, I think Braga will get him out of there. There's got to be some kind of a adrenaline dump, emotion dump coming, where I think if Braga gets a chance, he's going for that finish.
Love it. Yeah, I'm on the under. We might have to come back and do a little head to head on this one.
Okay.
Logan, Storley, and Musaev. Now we're getting to three pretty polarizing fights here. Storley and Musaev. What's your take on this fight?
Never a fan of Logan Storley. I think he has a very fraudulent record. It's just he's boring. He's just boring. I don't know how else to say it. His
picture's not boring. The last guy we talked about being
he's got
boring,
a good one.
He's got a pretty decent picture. The other guy, his picture was boring, and his fight was boring.
Storley's got some good lighting in there. There's abs in there that he doesn't really have in real life. It's
good little
picture.
touch-up airbrush.
Yeah,
that's not real. I'll tell you right now, that ain't real.
No, Logan is one that is definitely not on the good vitamins. I think he's coming in all natural to this, that's for sure. Saw a lot of love all week for Logan Storley. Yeah, everybody's on Logan Storley. Yeah, everybody loves him. I just can't with the man striking. I can't. I think it's absolutely atrocious. He is takedown or bust. If he cannot get the takedown, he is SOL. Done. Luckily, Michael Venom Page has no takedown defense, which is why he won that fight. When it was on the feet, Storley looked like a deer in headlights. He was diving in ankles. He wanted no part whatsoever. He fought Brennan Ward. Brennan Ward had a double tear in his bicep in that fight. By the way, FYI, a little news that came out this week. Double bicep tear. That's why he was able to get that ground and pound and just work him. You've had a hot take on this under here, and I'm curious to know your reasoning why. Because I don't have a lot to add about Shamil. I mean, he's a Russian. He's more of a stand-up guy. Can wrestle. Good defensively. I don't have any breaking news here.
Yeah, so I like the under here because Musaev, he has this decision win in 2021, and then has this draw decision in 2021. So then he fights Alexei Kunchenko, who this name may ring bells if you have been around for a while. This guy did have a couple of fights here in the UFC, and you know these are names that are still around here. I mean, like Zaleski's fighting. Gilbert Burns still fighting. He has a couple wins here, but he jumps over to PFL. He loses 3 out of 4, and in this last fight, Kunchenko landed a few kicks early, landed a couple punches, and the second he got punched, he turtled up. The ref called it, and he was just like, all right, cool, done. All right, I'm out of here. Cool, paycheck. It was classic Russian, whatever the hell that was. My problem is that Musaev, like, that's his only fight since 2021. That's a long, long time. What's this guy's cardio going to look like? Is he going to hold up? He looks pretty good, but I'm looking at Logan Storley, and I'm looking at his last few fights, and you've got the Brennan Ward here, and then you got decision, and I think that's why we're getting the value that we are on the under, because I don't buy this Musaev. I don't buy him at all. I don't buy him in the slightest. I think this guy's going to get fraud checked. I like Storley. I think he's going to win by finish. And if you're someone like Musaev who is coming in, who's never been in this promotion, and they're giving you strict instructions about, like, there's no elbows, but you have to finish, and this guy's, like, coming from KSW and whatever, I think it's going to be a lot for him. I think by hook or by crook, somebody gets finished in this fight. And I think it's Storley by inside the distance here. But regardless, I think Musaev comes out strong. He does look like he's got good striking. His posture is pretty good. His pose is pretty good. The way he boxes and kicks and holds his hands is pretty good. And like you said, Storley looks terrible on the feet. If Storley gets it down, I think he just finishes Musaev on the ground. But if it stays on the feet, I think Musaev knocks him out. I think it's an easy under for me on this one. And I think because of Storley's long record of, like, decisions, he's just not fought anyone like Musaev. So I like the under. That's my take on that one.
All good points. I like the contrarian, Storley by decision all these times and going the opposite way.
Yeah.
It's PFL. It's a different animal.
It's completely different, yeah. Loughnane and Carvalho, we had to laugh hysterically at the vlog videos. So if you haven't watched them, so Brandon Loughnane is like hobnobbing with all the big names and, like, doing his schmoozing and everything. And what's the video feature that they do on Pedro Carvalho? Would you like to explain, Jim? What's the video? What's the awesome video that they got of Pedro Carvalho?
He's just by himself the whole time. Every episode he's been just by himself with one other guy. He's on his phone talking to his kids.
But describe the shrimp scampi in the room.
Oh, yeah. He's got his personal chef making him shrimp. This bad shrimp scampi at that.
I wouldn't touch that shrimp.
Yeah, it didn't look good. It's just, man, he feels like it looks like they're putting no production value even into Pedro to build him up for it at all. It's just writing on the wall.
So the video that I'm talking about with Pedro Carvalho is he's in his hotel room watching TV, and he's got his personal trainer with this little plug-in little hibachi, and this guy's, like, sauteing this raw shrimp in a hotel room, and he's like, nutrition is the number one part of fighting. And so he makes it, and it's got this weird mayonnaise shit on it. And then he puts it in this plastic Tupperware and hands it to him. And Carvalho's like, nutrition is the number one part of this game. Meanwhile, Loughnane's like, training. And like it was, the production value tells you a lot. Carvalho is smoked in this one. I think it's Loughnane. I think it's Loughnane by finish, right?
Agreed. It's Loughnane by finish. Doesn't matter when it happens. It's going to happen.
You want to talk about the? I mean, this was a random loss, but you've always said like the knee and then the body shot, like one in a billion, right?
It can never be created. It will never, ever, like the Buckley knockout of Impa, the jump spinning back kick. That will happen again. This Pinedo knockout will never happen again. A guy will never get kneed in the face and kicked in the liver at the same time.
That's so weird.
It's not a move you train for. It's not. It was like Loughnane got hit with a stun gun. He just fell over, and I don't blame him because what hurts more? I got me in the face. I got kicked in the liver. It was just it was a phantom shot. Now, and looking back too as well. Look, Pinedo's a good fighter. He won the whole damn thing, guys.
Won the whole thing.
Finished Braga, first one to do that. So you can't take too much stock in that loss. I think Loughnane's back for the right reasons. I think he wants the W. He wants that extra mil. He wants to make up for it. This man has been training he's had to taste that loss for a year. Just sit on it and taste it and taste. And he is coming back ready to rock. And I think this is somebody who knows the PFL. He knows he's got to get his points early because Loughnane will be going to decision. All right, he's more of a decision fighter. This week is not the time to take him by decision. I think he finishes Pedro inside of 2 rounds. Those leg kicks are going to add up. Pedro doesn't wear damage good.
Yeah, and like with Carvalho, like we just broke down him cooking shrimp or his personal trainer cooking shrimp in the room. Fighting style wise, I mean, look at this man's record. He's lost 3 out of 4. He's had 2 wins since 2020 against Daniel Weichel.
Look at that! Look at that record next to Daniel Weichel. You think he should win that fight?
41-12.
I think he should win that fight.
And then it doesn't look like he's got it. So Loughnane by finish. All right, Koreshkov and Umalatov. Koreshkov looked pretty good at weigh-ins. I thought his size was pretty good. That being said, I do like Umalatov. I'll just go real quick. I don't believe in Koreshkov's style, especially for this format. It's pretty boring. Listen, a lot of wins in a row. This win against Lorenz Larkin, he took down Larkin and laid on him and still barely got a split decision. Like, it just does. This doesn't fly in MMA anymore. It just doesn't. Like, okay, he gets the ground and pound against I don't even know who this guy is, but I found it online. Shlamenko FC4. Sorry, I didn't see 3, 2, and 1. It just the spinning back kick against whatever. Bellator. This is a Bellator Shlamenko fighter, which is a fade theory of mine. I don't see the explosiveness. And Umalatov, he knows the game, man. This guy's been in PFL fights, and this Naib Lopez was bonkers. Jim, this is where we discovered the you can't knock out Mexican fighters theory.
The good thing about PFL is you see the same offenders and you go back and you remember your lessons that you learned.
Yes.
This was a lesson for us, this fight. Guy was un-KOable. Just wasn't going to happen. Not that night, not that fighter.
Umalatov could have run him over with a dump truck, and Lopez would have gotten up and been ready to go. But make no mistake, Umalatov demolished him in the first round.
2 rounds smoked him.
Any human being on the face of the planet would have been unconscious in this one. So I have Umalatov by finish in this one.
The Delano Taylor knockout. Delano Taylor's a pretty decent fighter. Pretty wicked knockout in that fight. If you go back and watch it, you see this guy striking. Magomed Karimov not being in this round has really opened this up. Or not in this weight class, should I say. He's not even in the tournament this year. This has opened up everything. Everything for Umalatov. Everything. He should win this thing. I can see him winning this thing. The question with him was the cardio. And the only time we saw the cardio really betray him was that fight where he just couldn't get the guy out of there. I don't think he's going to have that problem.
he gave everything he had to get.
Yeah.
Normally we make fun of fighters that can't get the finish and gas themselves. That was one fight where I was like, no, you did.
He didn't do anything wrong. He did nothing wrong. Nothing wrong. And you know what was interesting about that fight too is he wanted the 6 points. So that goes back again to PFL where if he just needed 3 to get in, he wouldn't have pressed on the gas pedal that first round. But he wanted the 6 to get that first spot because he did not want to fight Magomed Karimov. If you remember correctly, these two guys ended up getting matched up because of where they fell in the standings. He was going for the finish because they wanted to fight each other in the finals against each other. And he went for it. Didn't get it. Still got the win. Ended up pulling out with an injury, and Magomed Karimov wins the title that season. So I think he makes a statement in this first fight. I think Andre's a little washed. I think he's got a little bit of extra miles on those tires. Not impressed with his wrestling whatsoever. Umalatov can have this however he wants it.
I agree. You're getting great odds. I mean, this thing was all the way down to minus 135.
It's lower than it was. Yeah, I can't believe it's gone down.
I feel like they're screwing with the lines.
The other thing with PFL, their main events over the past 3 weeks, what have we noticed in our 3 main events? The first week we had the heavyweights. That fight's a dead under. Dead under, right?
Yeah.
Impa, who everybody's worried about going to decision. I mean, the fight starts 10 seconds in, you're like, oh no.
Why did I bet on Pulisic?
Yeah, I think these fights are main events for a reason. I think they're unders for a reason. It's just kind of how PFL does their business.
Yeah. Let's do a quick recap here. Thad Gene, I guess, if you're going to take him, but the odds are kind of crazy. Are you with me on Tyler Diamond? Or
I am. I was on Rodrigues, and I can't get over the size difference with Tyler Diamond. I like the fight not to go the distance.
Brennan Morton.
Gets fraud checked.
Brennan Morton, Madge, you like the under, right?
Under. Yeah. Fight doesn't start round 3, inside of 2.
We both like Ramazanov, but the minus 900 not taking. Khizriev and Brett Johns, we both like Khizriev, I believe, right?
Yes. Not drinking the Kool-Aid on Johns.
Barzola and Borics. Did we come to a decision on that one, or is that
I'm
just
on
a
Adam.
away?
I'm on Adam. I think it's
Okay.
Adam by decision. I think it's an over fight. I think that's one that actually goes the distance. Again, Enreique Barzola, you got to hit him with a dump truck. He's not going anywhere, right? He's not going anywhere.
We like Bubba Jenkins to steamroll Kai Kamaka on the ground. We like Yamauchi over Gracie. Braga and Gonzales here. I'm going to pick the under as my best bet on this fight. What's your best bet on this one? You want Braga?
Well, I like unders better than sides, so I would tail you on the under.
Okay.
But for argument's sake, I am on Braga. I think his size and his physicality is going to be a real problem for Gonzales.
Let's combine it and go Braga under.
Okay.
On that one. That way we can both be right. Storley and Musaev. I just like the under pure. I don't care who wins under that one. Do you like Storley?
I'm never going to put any money on Logan.
I know. It's true. We like Loughnane by finish, and we love the value on Umalatov. Listen, you can play a money line if you want to be safe, but I think if you get the little plus money on Umalatov by finish, I think that's a good one. So hit the like button, and please leave a comment. Make sure you note at the end of the comment if you're being sarcastic or if you really, really want to be vicious and vile. That way I know how to respond to everybody.
We love talking to you guys. We've learned a lot, met a lot of cool people. Just keep the comments coming.
Yeah, we just want to know how to respond. If you want that smoke, let us know. If you just want to laugh, then let us know as well. So, but let's have a great PFL weekend, and you can grab all plays over at wagertalk.com, all of our official plays. 7 days for $99, gets 3 days free, no promo code needed. Just check out Andy Lang at wagertalk.com. Good luck on all your plays, and we will see everyone next week on UFC and more MMA videos. Good luck. We'll see everyone next week.
Good luck this weekend, guys.